Hi guys, this is the second vlog for our uh, English recitation class, and today we'll be discussing active reading strategies. And today I will be bringing in from my poetry class the book Making Your Own Days by Mr. Kenneth Coach. It's a beautiful read. We were assigned this reading wherein we take chapter 1 and chapter 4 and somehow bounce off these ideas of what poetry is, its definition, and what it means to cut in from the varied great poets of our time and of yesteryears. So to jump right into this, I'm not just going to talk about poetry. I'm also going to talk about active reading. Now, if you can see, this is actually a book, and I'm actually in the library right now. That is not obvious. So that would mean that I can't necessarily write in the book. So that's one active reading strategy which was out of the picture. However, one active strategy I did use was to take notes. And so as I took chapter 1, I went through it. I looked into the pages, and luckily the book I have right here, since it was borrowed, has notes on the side, if you can see that. So it helped because somehow the reader, the previous borrower of the book, already helped me out in some way. However, one thing that was key was active reading. So this is the assignment we have for English recitation. If you can see, there are highlights, there are notes, and I try my best to maintain an outline where I take notes. If you can see here. My strategy is, as I read the book and as I encounter concepts which are very important, I try to underline them. If not, because the book is borrowed by the library, I try to write it down on the paper, but not just to leave it as that. I try to contextualize it in structure, in a framework, so that when I return to it, there is this organization of ideas, and one thing leads to another, one thing connects to another. The concept can be broken down and is easier to understand in the future, as you can see here. Now, there are 2 chapters, so what I did, in an active manner is just to cut it in half. This would be chapter 1, this would be chapter 4, and now I can have like this sort of, visual aid as I compare and contrast ideas. Now, how useful do I think the strategies of SQ and 3R is? Well, personally, I think you can't really do all of it, but you can, as much as possible, think critically of the text. You can survey, you can, question, you can read, recite, and review. Not only in this chronological order, but sometimes, when you are deeply inside the text, it's a combination of you scanning, of you surveying, of you questioning. As a personal note, what I was reading the 4th chapter, it had the notion. I'll be reading it from the book, from the note, that poetic ability is a growth factor, and that your exposure to great poetry increases your poetic ability, or in Koch's terms, your poetic base. In my sense, I needed to question that notion and look at my schema of my experience with poetry, and I did agree that the more I interacted with the poems of William Ernest Henley, of Shakespeare, of William Keats, Edgar Allan Poe, of Keats, of Shelley, these great poets, the more you're entranced into this, state of poetic ability and expression. So again, sorry if I rant, but me being immersed in that way, and me having this conversation, to be able to actually express an idea and to relate it with that, idea placed in the book that makes the connection stronger. So I believe active reading has impacted in a positive way in that light. Now, what will I do differently next time I have some reading in class? Or, well, all right, I would again do as I did. I would take the book and take a pen, and what I did was, it's a concept similar to speed reading, not technically, but I would use the pen as advised by Mr. Mortimer Adler in his classical book How to Read, just to scan it, and so that my eyes are active, reading, not just passively gazing at text and wasting time, but being efficient with it. Mixing and matching, even if it's not my book, even if it's the libraries, I can still use certain tools, certain resources to be able to interact with the idea in a more enthusiastic way. Yes. Lastly, with a different type of genre, what would I do? Well, this is a poetry book, so the way the writer talks about concepts, there are numerous exemplifications, definitions, and compare and contrasts of notions. There's a lot of actually anecdotes in the book, and it has this more of like a personal touch to it rather than academic text. Now I have this psychology class, which is more technical in a way, although the writers tried to put it in a vernacular. The text is more academic, and so I believe to actively read that, it would be a different technique. I would have to preview the chapter by going to the summary, looking at these important terms, highlighting that, connecting it with its definition. And so as I read, I survey, I look into the headings, know that, okay, this is the important concepts in this chapter, and to be able to have that, a clear goal that, okay, this is the term that I need to understand. These are the headings, these are the concepts that relate to those terms, and it would then be my goal in that active reading session to make those connections. And I believe that would be the proper technique to read actively and to maximize my reading comprehension. So that's for now, and I'm gonna see you on the next vlog. Thank you very much, and I hope you get to read this book, Making Your Own Day, Ken Coach. Thank you very much.